corporate interference shape what stories get told, whose experiences matter, and whether journalism can hold powerful institutions accountable. Eliminating journalists and subject matter expertise weakens journalism's ability to serve the public and hold power accountable. The theme of this week has been our revolution: truth, power, and Black journalism. We cannot spend an entire week talking about truth and power and then become timid when it is time to tell the truth to power. Press freedom does not erode by accident. Editorial standards do not bend themselves. People make decisions. Executives make decisions. Government officials make decisions. Companies make decisions. The conversation is available and the opportunity to change is real. But NABJ will not be silent. Not in this moment and not on my watch. There can be no revolution without accountability. There can be no accountability without courage. And there can be no Black journalism that is worthy of its history if we are afraid to speak truth to power.
Amen.
So that was Aaron Haynes, president of the NABJ. Did any of y'all catch up on any of the commentary on that at all? You see the videos or any clips on that yesterday over the weekend?
I did.
What were your thoughts on that, EB?
I don't even drink, but I started to get drunk after I saw that. I think Stephen Smith. I would love to see what the worst can happen to a journalist who's so full of himself.
Gotcha.
I am waiting for the most aha, I'm Black moment in American history to happen to him, because nobody deserves that more than he. It's one thing to be entertained. She mentions a couple things here. Truth, speaking truth to power. That's what creates that courage. Speaking truth to power. When you speak in truth because somebody has power over you, that contradicts the phrases, right? That contradicts the need to have a free press. Stephen, whatever his name is, I always mess his name up. I always called him Stephen Curtis Chapman. I ain't gonna give him that much credit to be a Christian singer, but I think that in his monologue, most of the times, he intentionally goes after Black women that are popular. He won't go to and educate you about women that are doing something in the community that maybe needs a lot more publicity. He specifically goes after people like Joy Reid and Jasmine Crockett, people that can bring him attention. That means to me, he is using their prestige to bring him power. And that's similar to what the other side does to us all day long.
Right.
So he deserves to dumb down.
So I got a question for y'all then. When a Black institution publicly challenges a prominent Black commentator, does that strengthen the community standards or create harmful division? Or should we be responsible for defining accountability? Or who should be responsible for that? What you think about that?
Who you're trying to impress? Who you're trying to impress? The governance structure, who we are to each other, says that I should speak truth, period, right? Whether you're in power or not. And I should call it as I see it. Now, if you're trying to deal with the social structure, who we are to other people, everybody got an opinion about what a Black person is supposed to do. I've lived with that all my life. But it's who we are to each other that continues to reshape, reform, re-evolve our communities, so that even today in 2026, we still know how to navigate and dissociate from things that don't mean anything. Now, you can go chase money if you want to. You'll always find some white folks that'll pay you money, especially if you want to do the dance they want to see.
Right.
But if you're trying to take care of the babies to come, how I was taken care of, then it's about standing on truth and backing my family, who we are to each other.
Okay. So what about you, Lawrence? Like, who's responsible, or does it? I'm not even gonna go with the who's responsible part. Does this strengthen us by checking somebody like Stephen A. Smith in that situation?
Two things can be right at the same time. Yes and no. I think in this situation, I have struggled with my relationship with Stephen A. Smith, and I don't have a relationship with him. It's just I have this love hate with him,
Yeah.
and I try to listen to his side when he comes out and does his apology videos and stuff like that. And I really sit there and I watch and I listen. And I know he does a lot of good things outside of sports and entertainment and politics for the Black community that is not known in the public. Um, Unfortunately, is what you say and what you do and how you respond and how you treat the community at times is what everybody sees. And once you start acting crazy in public, then it kind of deletes everything that you've done good behind closed doors. Great, you've done those things. But as Kerry Champion and Jamel Hill, they have pointed out in other interviews that they didn't feel protected by him, when they were with ESPN. So it's not like this is a new thing with him. This seems like this is a pattern. And I don't know his dynamic with his family and his dating life because he keeps all that stuff private. So I don't know his relationship with other Black women. I just know what I see and what I hear, and it's not looking good.
Right. No, I agree with that. I know I look at, like, for Stephen A. Smith, I feel the same way as you. I'm troubled. Like, I skip past First Take a lot now. I just skip past it. I'll find something else to watch. But I look at, I used to like Stuart Scott a lot back in the day. And he was very, he was genuine. But the difference was that he was one of those guys that they say, like, how the other side say, oh, you're one of the good guys. You're the good one, because he was palatable to them. Well, when you have two types of people when you look at media, you're going to have the palatable person that make the status quo comfortable, and then you're going to have that one, the Stephen A. Smith, that you will say he's going to be the clown or the show, the joker, the act. You know what I'm saying? He's not going to come at you like he's the that palatable person. So you're going to have the two types. It's hard to find that intermediate person. And then those are the two they're going to keep. The one that they always have trouble with is a Ryan Clark type that just keep it real 100 all the time. So those are the ones that you're going to see removed and hard to replace that commentary that they give, because they're so raw and so real. I mean, we can go all the way back to watching Arsenio Hall. Everybody used to love the Arsenio Hall show. It was like one of the top nighttime shows. He kept it real. He kept the culture involved. And the thing about it is that when he did interviews, you got authentic interviews. It wasn't a fluffed over interview by a Black person that he was interviewing. And when they're removed, you haven't seen anything like that again. But we've seen 1,001 Jay Littles, Dave Letterman, Johnny Carson, Stephen Colbert, Jimmy Kimmel. They're all the same. You're only going to have one Arsenio Hall. Not because he was Black, because he had the personality and the character to be real all the time. And so when I look at Stephen A. Smith, I looked at him as being authentic and real. But over the last, say, 10 years, I see more of a person who's trying to keep his money coming in, but also try to balance out different sides of the social spectrum or the cultural spectrum. And when you try to balance that out, you either lose yourself trying to appease those, like I said, the status quo, or you become a villain to your own community because they know that you're being fake. And that's what I see.
That's played into social media, that algorithm stuff.
Yeah.
Well, I think as a father of daughters, and I got the same amount of sisters, and I think it bothers me that, he can do all of that. I mean, he can play to the camera because most of them do. I think the problem I'm having is one of the most criticized demographic in this country is Black women. When Kamala ran for president, they weren't criticizing her policy. They were criticizing her prosecuting as a prosecutor, people in California.
Mm-hmm.
They were questioning her degree and all of those things, right?
Even
So
her marriage.
even her marriage. And so when Stephen Smith go down that pathway, to me, all of the rules change, right? If this was coming from a blonde-haired, blue-eyed white person on TV or something, we kind of used to that, even though we don't like it. We kind of used to it. But coming from a black man that actually had a black mother, that bothers me. It bothers me because we know it's intentional. He is not
Right.
doing it by accident or the news came across while he was watching. He's had plans. He's got talking points, and he is personally attacking these women and saying things that he don't even have to say to get the prestige that he needs. All he needs to do is give his commentary about it and move on. But he just doubles down on it. It's almost like we're watching a black version of Donald Trump. It's embarrassing.
Yeah.
And the other sad thing is, he has a daughter. He puts her on the show every now and then, and and
I think it's two daughters.
yeah,
he has
he does have two. But in our community, that's what we always want to see. We want to see a present father that is there for their daughters or sons or whoever. So another positive that is like, well, he has that. We'd like to see a successful black man or woman on TV representing us, as we like to see. Another positive thing, but he keeps stepping in the crap with his mouth. And here's the thing: it's too late, because I honestly think this was our own creation, and it's not us. Like, I think this is his inner circle's creation, because I think over time people were, I don't say afraid to tell him that he's going too far with certain things that he either thought or said behind closed doors or on TV. He always had the tit for tat battles with the athletes when he would say something, and then they would say something about him on social media or something like that. But I think this didn't just happen overnight. This is something that has been, and the problem is it's too late. Once you've gotten too big and so much money and so much prestige and so many people telling you how great you are, it's hard to have a mentor that you can lean into and be like, and bounce things off before you open your big mouth. And here we are. He's at that point where I don't think there's anything anybody can say. And I wish there was a way that some of these sisters or another black male figure, can pull them to the side and say, hey, bro, it's a better way to do this. I understand your point, but why don't you try calling one of these ladies first before you open your mouth about them? Figure out their side of how they feel about what they're talking about, or their political views or whatever, before you start just pointing the finger at them. Because this honestly ain't your job. This is not your job. Your job is, did the Knicks win? Did the Lakers?
Almost forgot about that, Lawrence.
I am.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that is your job. Stay in your lane. And I hate to sound like the just dribble the ball and shut up. I mean, he has a right to have his opinion, but once you start crossing certain lines, it's just at this point, like, I can't even respect anything you have to say on the sports side or the political side.
Do you think
that's what society has always done to keep us fractured and coming together?
Yeah.
Watch Nubia and Refill, and those of you who know, but it was a movie made in 1938 about Joe Louis, and it had to deal with women and black women, and Joe Louis' responsibility to his family, to his mother. How you treat your mother will show a woman how you treat women.
right?
I mean, that's something that they pass from woman to woman.
Right.
And you look at the kind of man that a woman picks. My father's instructions to me as a young man, I'm going to start dating, that make sure you return that girl to her home.
You're breaking up there, Greg. You're breaking up there a little bit. Yeah. So, like, when I look at Stephen A. Smith, I look at all of this right now as branding. It's branding, and he just captured over the last 10 years a whole new demographic of followers. Excuse me. People couldn't stand Stephen A. Smith because of his defense of the black culture. And the way he's going after things now, he's grabbing a whole new demographic.
Well, they sure love him now, then.
Yeah, they love him now. So that's what I'm saying. It shows you who's real and who's not, and who does it for a certain amount of money.
Follow the money.
Yeah, I mean, for real though. I got a comment here. So that was Greg there. I don't know who this is. Hey, Baba Change. I'm not sure who that is.
John Gay. That's me.
Oh, that's
I'm John Gay.
Oh, my
and
bad.
That must be. Yeah, that's Norvell. He knows.
Okay,
he knows.
got you.
I've been sharing in the background, trying to get some people.
Hey, Norvell, welcome to the show. Glad to see you checking us out. Appreciate that. And everybody out there, please go ahead and share the links, whether you're on Instagram or YouTube. Just share our links out there. Subscribe, join our pages, because we want to continue to keep this moving. We have some really good conversations. But that's what I feel about it. But I'm going to let y'all check this out. This is Stephen A. Smith's response to everything that's going on.
BS. And I get a lot.
Why does it do this to me every week, man? That was the other lady's video, right? Yeah.
You didn't clear that out.
Yeah, I thought I did. Let me just remove it out. Move it out all the way. Now bring Stephen A. back in here again.
BS. And I get a lot of people want to pile on and they want to jump on it because you have your own individual feelings about me. I'm here to tell y'all are entitled to that. Not the NABJ. You're not entitled to that.
Yeah, they are.
This is me we're talking about here. I am the same guy that brought a nationally televised show to a journalism conference, which is the NABJ, the last 2 years. Did you have anything to say about me then? Did I get a thumbs down then? First Take, a nationally televised show, which has been #1 for 14 straight years.
And that's how it clicks off, huh? 14 straight years.
Yeah,
now,
what does he sound like?
Feeling is so hurt.
He sounds like of all I've done for you.
Yeah.
That is not gonna go well. One thing that I love about the sisters in our culture, they can sift through all the Cadillacs and earrings and gold necklaces you bought them and call you out when they need to. Mm-hmm. And so I think he's frustrated because he thought that fluff was going to be enough to make everybody excuse his ignorance. All he had to do, I'm sorry, I'm going to use the term, is shut up and dribble. And we would not be talking about him. At least if the criticism we have would be fair. Could be talking about maybe he can talk about WNBA stars and stuff like that. We probably would even be on the conversation. But now he went over into people that's in our culture saying things about people in our culture and expect us to let him get away with it. Sorry, buddy, you ain't doing enough for the community to take all of that. Sorry.
Okay, hold up, Lawrence. Let me ask this question before you get to that point. As you give your point, Lawrence, answer this question. Do the NABJ have the right? He says they don't. Do they have the right to cancel him like that or give him the thumbs down?
I am going to give a very unpopular response. Let me just say that now. Again, two things can be right. This is what we're talking about is, to me, a personal feeling that we have about this person and who he is as a person and as a journalist, a personal feeling. Now, based off what I don't like the fact he's pulling out the receipts. But again, we cannot deny that these things will go, like even having the show go to HBCUs all across the country and putting some of these smaller schools on large screens and having them shown nationally. Some of these players would never get that type of exposure. Now, do I like what he does and how he says things? I do not. But again, there is so much good that he can provide and that he does, that when he shows his tail and he does the other thing, it wipes all that away. And so I truly struggle with Stephen A. Me and Stephen A, This I hate to do this. My wife probably would be like, "Boy, shut up." But Stephen A. and oh my God, and Judas to me are the same. I struggle with both of them to hate or love them. Judas to me had a bad day. He made a bad choice. There's no way he did not walk with Jesus all that time and not really believe. He just had a bad day. I look at it that way. And I can forgive a bad day. I'm sure Jesus can forgive a bad day.
I'm so glad you called
because the other good thing is by Judas doing what he did, guess what? What does that do? Reverend over there, my fellow deacon. If Judas doesn't do what he do and Jesus doesn't sacrifice for us, then we don't have everlasting life. Now,
No, you're true.
if Stephen A., okay, and this is definitely, these are two vastly different people, but Stephen A. in some way has a little bit of that where he does something that is so egregious, but then there's something behind that helps so many other people that we don't see, that we don't hear about, that we don't know, that it just makes it hard to root for somebody like that. And I'm telling you, up until last year, it dawned on me about Judas. I was like, oh, hold on. I had to think about me as a person, not being the best husband all the time, not being the best father all the time, definitely not being the best Christian all the time. Who am I? And this is in the Bible. Yeah. Who am I to cast the stone if I can't? Now, do I agree with Stephen A. and how he moves? I do not. But do I low-key root for him a little bit to make it? And that one day, he realizes, because you can tell in that rebuttal, you can tell he a little hurt.
Yeah.
You can tell this every time I see him respond, I look at him, I'm like, he's a little hurt because he realizes I do a lot. I don't understand. He truly don't understand. He really does not understand.
Or he would try not to understand.
Yeah. And maybe it's just a conversation that somebody needs to have with him, and you just need to keep dialing it in with him. But I struggle.
It's not about what you do. It's about who you are.
I know. But I struggle.
Jesus knew all of his disciples before he called them. He knew what they were going to do.
Right.
And we know who Stephen A. is. Anyway. Now we know who Stephen A. is.
We know who Stephen. He's always been that.
But do we want to run the risk of those things, those little things that we don't see and we don't hear about that help push other black people, black, brown, indigenous, all these other people that get an opportunity to win when he pushes them towards the front, right? There's an opportunity there for,
but they win with
I don't even like Ryan Clark is as good as he is. There was still somebody that had to vouch for him, and unfortunately, that person that we're talking about, we would have never seen the greatness of Ryan Clark be who he was for all those years for ESPN, and now what he's doing on his podcast. Well, there's always a beginning to something. It's not always pretty.
Here's the problem with that, though, Lawrence. If Stephen A. Smith was white, would we be giving him that much
oxygen?
If you wouldn't be saying those things about him. Here's the problem. That is the argument that the liberal white people say when we criticize them for doing the dumbest things that causes problems in our society. And Malcolm X said one time, sorry, I can't quote it directly, but one of the worst group of people in the country is the white liberal because they think you owe them something when they do something for you. Mm-hmm. That is Stephen. Right. That's him. Yeah. He thinks just because you'll do those things. Look, if my kids get straight A's for 2 years and come home with a stolen car in the driveway, I'm not going to ignore the stolen car in the driveway. I'm not going to ignore that he cussed out the teacher because he had a bad day. As a matter of fact, I'm going to come down on him so hard, he's going to think he never got straight A's.
Right.
He does not deserve to get the benefit of the doubt because he did something. Because what I'm thinking now, what he's doing is he's throwing up fluff. because he wants to be excused. If it's any organization that need to, since he thinks he's a journalist, even though he's not trained as one, I think he got a privilege by being even recognized at all by an organization that before he became in sports, he would even thought of being a journalist.
I think he was a journalist, wasn't he? Did he go to school for journalism?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's what I thought.
I stand corrected.
Yeah, he went to school for journalism.
Now my thing is this, and this I don't want to talk about him all night, but
yeah, we got to move on a little bit.
This is honestly, if we look at it, this is family business, and I wish we would pull each other to the side and not have these, because what it does, it shows a chink in our armor, and it shows a untogetherness that we don't want to show. And this is one of those times, again, he has value for the community. I don't want to ignore, the fact that yes, he is problematic, but he also has some value. And I don't want to ignore that. But I wish there was a way that this stuff can be kept in-house. We have these adult conversations with each other and we keep it moving. But all this online bickering and thumbs down, and what won by this? Because let's say he's been doing this NABJ, and bringing them, some limelight. So now, what happens next?
Well, they may not get that.
Yeah, they may not get that again now. So what benefit was that?
It's no excuse.
What was the benefit? I'm just saying, what was the benefit?
Sorry, man.
Two things. Benefit was that because he was scrutinized for what he's been doing, that was another high. This 2 years in a row that the NABJ has gotten a spotlight. It was Donald Trump, and now it's Stephen A. Smith. So their recognition or what they stand for has increased, and more publicity has come out of it. But the thing about it is that we have to, when we look at Stephen A. Smith, it's like anybody, like you said, you got, he's a criminal, he's a villain, and he's a hero at the same time, as Lawrence would say. I mean, we could say the same thing right now about Luke Skywalker. He's running for Senate, you know what I'm saying, or as a Congress or a Senate. But the thing about it, if it wasn't for him back in the days when he was singing all that filthy rap, with all the profanity, but think about it, he pushed past a lot of these First Amendment laws.
Yes,
and also he's had different laws about racism going through different states that they were attacking them with. So, I mean, he won a lot of court cases. So now you look at him now running for city, you're like, wow, he do know how to fight for the people. You know what I'm saying? So it's like he's a villain.
I can't give you applause for doing what you're supposed to do.
I'm not saying that. I'm not saying
that.
I
mean, it's Stephen A. Don't get applause.
No, that's not
for
what I'm saying.
What he did for the NABJ. He doesn't get applause for that.
No, two things can be right at the same time. I'm saying a person has made progress in a sector here, and he's also is not being responsible for the platform that he's holding, if that makes sense. So that's why I say two at the same time.